Welcome to the Digital Marketing Mentor. I'm your host, Danny Gavin, and together with industry leaders and marketing experts, we'll explore the meeting point of mentorship and marketing. We'll discover how these connections have affected careers, marketing strategies, and lives. Now get ready to get human. Hello, I'm Danny Gavin, founder of Optidge, marketing professor, and the host of the Digital Marketing Mentor. Today, we will be talking with Santi Schamberger, who is a web developer at Optidge. Santi has spent several years navigating web development, which is a topic and a service offering at Optidge that we don't always discuss on the podcast. Santi has helped design and develop high-impact websites and SEO campaigns that drive real results. His approach is all about collaboration, becoming an extension of our clients' teams, deeply invested in their success. Today, we are diving into web development and its role in digital marketing and WordPress websites. How are you doing, Santi?
I'm doing really well.
Can you share your journey into web development and what inspired you to get into that area of marketing?
My whole life, I always loved marketing. I always loved the idea of helping businesses grow and succeed. And I also wanted to build my own thing, So I started thinking about different projects that I wanted to do, and I didn't have the resources as to hire someone to build a website and to do the design for me. So I started learning a little bit how to do it myself. Then my projects didn't go very well, but at the end of that, I started thinking, okay, what's the outcome that I could get from all these experience and things that I've been doing? And it was that I learned how to build websites. And I liked that and I enjoyed it. So I decided to push it a little bit more and to start doing courses and to become better at what I do. And that's why I decided to go with website development. I started doing courses. I started working with different clients as a freelancer. And I started becoming really, really good at website dev. And I enjoyed it a lot. And at the same time, there was the pandemic hits and everyone needed a website. Everyone needed to be online. So that was a really big push for me. And I started working a lot more, improving my skills. And that's how I ended up here.
What do you like most about working in an agency setting rather than just being a freelancer on your own?
That I get to share my work with the team, to receive feedback, to have someone that gives me their opinions, that ask me questions, that make me think, people that I can learn from. For example, since I joined Optidge, it's been really, really great for me because I get to see how other people work, what they think when they look at the website, and that changes my vision. And that's what I like the most. And also, when you work in an agency, the clients are very different. So you get to understand how each industry thinks, what they want, what they look at, and you get to know the owners of the businesses or the marketing team of the businesses. And that's what makes me really excited about this work, is that you get to learn and to see how other people do what they know best. And it's whole experience that gets to your mind and allows you to grow and to think better, right?
So what are some of the biggest challenges you faced as a web developer and how do you overcome them?
To align expectations and to explain to the client that we need to build something that looks really good, but that also converts. So a good website is a website that converts, not the most beautiful website out there. And at the same time, you get aligned with the marketing objectives. So it's hard as a website developer to understand the client needs, to build something great, and also to align it with SEO or marketing or paid social in order to build something great. And once you learn how to talk with the client, how to explain them what you are trying to build, and that sometimes what they want is not the best thing that they can get in order to achieve their results and their goals.
So I don't think I ever told you this story, but this must have been, it's one of the first clients that I worked with. It must be back like 2012, 2013. They got this design company, purely designed to create their new website. And I told them, okay, like if you want to rank for SEO, we need to have some words on there, right? We can't just have these big pictures. What they ended up doing was they had like above the fold was like this really big picture, maybe a couple lines of text. and then you had to scroll. I'm trying to do. I know you don't know inches, so millimeters. I don't know, like 15 centimeters down, and then they had started the text. So it was literally like picture, white space, and then
Yeah.
text at the bottom, and it was so horrible and ugly, and it was so hard because the designers that I was working with, from their perspective, there was no middle ground. It's like, for it to be a good design, it just needs, it has to have minimal text. And then if you want to add text, well, we're going to hide it somewhere at the bottom. And I remember that what ended up being is it looked so horrible. It looked like a mutant, right? Like different
Yeah.
things. And so that's just one of my funny early memories of like design, but not necessarily doing what's best for the client, rather just doing, a pure designer. So I always say, like, designers, web developers, and SEO, right, really have to find a common ground, because yes, you need to create a beautiful website, but if you want it to rank, if you want it to convert, sometimes that means you do have to give in to some of the other things, and it can't just be this beautiful, artistic masterpiece.
Exactly. Yeah, it happened to me a lot. When clients provide, it's the same. When they hire a design agency, they send you the designs, and they are incredible. They are beautiful, but then it's hard to convert those designs into an actual website, because they never or they don't think about, okay, how. And this is also what I think, how web dev is evolving, right? So before, you got an agency that would do the design for you, and then you'll have another team doing the website development. The issue with that was that designers, and it's not their job, but they don't know how to translate that into an actual website. And when you receive the design as a website developer, you immediately know that some of the elements that are designed there are cannot be done, or are really hard to achieve, or that they will affect the user experience, because you know how to build them. So it's like all the different elements when it comes to a website, they have to be really synchronized. The work should be really collaborative. When the designers are done, the design can actually be converted into a website, and that it will actually achieve the results of the clients.
So you've been doing this for a long time, pre-COVID, throughout COVID, and then obviously all now through 2025. How has your approach to web development evolved over the years?
Yeah, it changed a lot, because technology has been changing a lot these years. There are a lot of new tools, a lot of new things that you can use as to make something better. If I look back to when I started, I used to use a lot of tools in order to build a website, because the tools before, they weren't that big and full of functionalities. Right now, we use 2-3 tools to build a website. And that's really, really good. And it makes everything way easier, because the tools have become really complex, really good at what they do. And they are merging multiple tools into one that allows you to build something great with minimum tools. And then, as I said before, I think my vision when it comes to web dev has changed a lot, because before, it was enough for you to know how to code a website, or how to design a website, or how to do SEO. Right now, it's important to understand the 3 things. You need to understand how to design a website, how to code a website, and you need to have some idea of SEO. Otherwise, it's hard to build something great. But I think it's happening in most industries, that different roles are merging. That before, for example, you could do a website without knowing any SEO, because they had an SEO team. Right now, it's crucial for you to understand all the pieces as to build something great.
So with all these tools available now, do you feel like this means there's less room for like web developers and people can just do it on their own? Or do you still feel like it's a good idea to get a web developer to help you?
For me, it's still a really good idea. The tools are super powerful, easy to use, and they provide great outcomes. But at the end, you need to understand what they are doing, like the structure behind it. For example, tools like WordPress, Webflow, that I like to call them low code, they are easy to use, but you need to understand what's the mechanism behind them in order to do the right changes, in order to work well with them. I think that a web developer, web designer are crucial, Still, it's true also that the AI is making it or reducing the amount of people that you need to achieve the same result, which is something great because more designers, more developers are able to do more and better designs and better work. But I don't think it's going away soon. I still think that a web developer and designer are important.
Yeah, and I say the same thing with SEO, where these days you could like go to ChatGPT and just type in, "Hey, can you do SEO on my website?" And this is the website. So it's very easy to, let's say, get the outward sort of result, but if you don't understand the logic behind it, then often you're not going to be able to diagnose problems, fix it, major issues. A good example is, we don't have to name the client, but we're working on a project right now where like their WordPress is a mess, right? But because you have a good understanding of how everything works in the back end and how things are built and how they're built upon each other, it's very easy for you to go in and actually work with a horrible built site and make changes and updates, when someone who just knows like the surface level would never be able to go in and get it to work. And we know with them, they had a very hard time like updating and making things. A push moving forward is for everyone, is it's really easy to get surface level knowledge. But if you truly want to understand something, you have to go back to the basics. You have to build up your knowledge. And then, yes, you can use the AI or the other tools to help you. But if you just start from here, there are going to be many scenarios where you're going to be totally lost and you're not going to be able to provide true value.
100%, yeah.
So, can you describe a project that you're particularly proud of and what made it so successful? So, like when you look back at your experience, is there one project, like, oh man, that was the best one?
So I had a client in the culinary industry. They were selling courses online, and we use Clarity, which is a free Microsoft tool. What it does is shows you the heat maps of your website. So what a visitor does when they visit you. And it's really, really important to see, because sometimes you see how they click on certain elements that are not clickable, or that they don't scroll up to the section that you need them to scroll, or the behavior that they do is different to what you expected them to have. So we took all those metrics, all that information, and we improved the design. After 2 months of launching the new design, their conversion rate was up 30% when it comes to form submissions and scheduled calls. For me, when a client is successful, it's when the client actually tells you, hey, you changed my business, or you helped me grow, and you helped me achieve my objectives. That's for me my goal with all of this. And it happened with a client, and it made me really, really happy. And that's the purpose that you should have, or that I have behind what I do, to see other people happy or excited about working together, about getting results, about growing the business.
That really resonates with me, because I think, the fact that we really change people's lives. And I know sometimes it's like a business, but when we're actually able to make a change and see people are happy, and potentially change someone's life from having something that doesn't work, but now it does work and they can provide for their family, it's pretty amazing. So we don't always get clients like that, but when you do have those clients and you're able to know how you affected them and in a positive way, it really means a lot.
Exactly. And that's also what I like about marketing, is that if you do well, your client do well, and if they do well, you do well. So it's like a virtuous circle there, that it's a win-win situation for everyone. So everyone is pushing the same way. We're doing our best for you to succeed, and if you succeed, we succeed. So that's what really motivates me and what keeps me in this industry, right?
So based on what you just said, user experience is really important. So I imagine, if someone came to you and said, hey, my website's ugly, it's not working so well, design me a new website. Not necessarily is that the first thing one should do, right? It's possible that maybe the design's, like, in general, it's not so bad. It's just maybe by doing a couple changes here or there to make things easier, that could actually be a better option. So I think a lot of times web developers will come and say, hey, you need a new website, but maybe you don't, right? Maybe it's just a matter of looking at that user experience. So from your perspective, how important is that user experience and understanding it in order to make a successful website and also a successful marketing campaign?
Yeah, for me, it's crucial to have a good website. As you said, the first thing that we should do with a client is And that's why I really like and enjoy working in Optidge is what's the best for the client. Obviously, for a web developer, it's always best to rebuild the entire website and do it from scratch and do it great. But sometimes by tweaking some of the things that they already have there is enough. So that's the first thing that we should consider. Then having a good website and a strong one, it's crucial. The website itself is the foundation to all the other marketing strategies. So if you do paid social, SEO, or any of the other kind of marketing, they will all land on the website. So having a strong website with good copy, leading the user to take the action that you need them to take is super important, because otherwise all the other efforts that you do when it comes to marketing, if you take the visitor to a not so strong website, you're going to lose a lot of visitors and a lot of potential clients. So for me, it's crucial to have a really good website so you can have everyone come there and get the conversion.
So I know we touched upon this a little bit earlier with my story, but can you speak to the importance of finding a balance between optimized copy and an attractive web design?
When it comes to websites, for me, the design is great as to catch the attention of the user. So you want them to go to your website and say, wow, this is a good website. This looks good. But then the copy is what should lead the visitor to take action. The design should follow the copy. It's not otherwise. You cannot have a really extremely beautiful website and the copy not so worked that it doesn't help bring the user where you need it to be. For me, it's building the copy is crucial, and then building something around that will catch the attention, but it's not very weird or strange or a lot of movement of elements so the user don't get distracted. That's crucial. But yeah, if I would say something is copy is the most important thing, and the design should follow the copy, because the copy is what takes the user to take action.
So would you say if you were designing a website, ideally you should have that copy first and then you could design it around it? Or is it okay to like have placeholder text and design?
You can do it both ways, but for me, the best is to have all the copy, all the structure. And once you have it, you plan a good design around it. That's the perfect way of doing it. Sometimes I work with some clients that say, Santi, build a better website, use placeholder images and text, and then we will work on it once you finish the website design. That's not, in my opinion, that's not the way to go. And sometimes it happens, for example, that I build a slider that has one sentence per item, let's say. And then the client works on the copy and they send me for each slider 2 paragraphs of text. So then we need to rebuild the design in order to fit that text there. So yeah, it's always better to have the copy, to have the structure, and to have the vision and the goals of the clients, and then build something around that helps achieve the results.
Yeah, and then the design is more custom, right? Because then you're fitting it to the different elements. I think that makes a lot more sense. So at Optidge, we use WordPress, and many of our clients do too. What are the advantages of using WordPress for web development, particularly for small to medium-sized businesses?
It's great because it's really flexible. It allows you to build something really simple and then add functionalities as you grow. It has a lot of plugins that you can connect to, a lot of integrations with different CRMs, different tools that allows you to manage your client base, your emails, anything. WordPress is really well connected. We liked it a lot. It's easy to use, easy to manage. And then, as I said, if you want to add more functionalities in the future, it's totally doable. So for me, it's the tool to go when building a website. There is Webflow and other tools out there, but for me, I always prefer WordPress. It allows you to create a really, really complex, full of functionalities with incredible design websites. At the same time, it allows you to build something quick and fast that looks really good on all devices. So for me, WordPress is great.
How do you approach the customization of WordPress themes and plugins for client needs?
The first thing here is to understand the client goals, what they want to achieve with their website. And when it comes to the technical stuff, we like to use Elementor. It's a builder that allows you to create really good interfaces easily. It's extremely powerful, and it has a lot of add-ons around it that allows you to add more functionalities. So it's great. When it comes to the theme, we use mostly Hello theme, which is a theme built by Elementor's team, and it works incredibly well with their tool, with their builder, and it makes the website really, really fast because it's just a blank theme that you customize using Builder. Those two combined are our go-to plugins and themes to build the websites. I will say that 90% of the websites could be designed and developed only using Elementor.
Some of the complaints, at least in the past, that I've heard about WordPress is, if I'm going to get someone to custom design it, then if I need to make changes, I'm going to have to go back to them. But one thing that people have to realize is when you build a website in Elementor, it's very easy for someone to go in and make changes and updates here and there. I mean, obviously, if you're looking for a totally new custom module, that's different. But to go in and to do updates, just the user interface, in addition to just being able to build it, but then to be able to maintain it and update it, a client has a lot of flexibility. Would you agree?
100%. Yeah. You no longer need a website developer in-house to do any change, or most of the changes can be done by the client itself. It's really easy to go ahead and change the text, change images, create new pages. Then there are a few things that are more complex and where you would need help, but the easiest part, you can do it yourself. That's a mistake that I see on a lot of companies, mostly before, not currently. Currently is very well known that Elementor and other tools make it really easy to build the websites, but they would use WordPress and create a custom theme inside WordPress based in PHP. And what that does is that removes the possibility of the user to modify the theme easily. So it's like you're using WordPress, but you're losing a lot of their purpose, which is making websites easier to maintain and manage. But yeah, using WordPress and Elementor will help you have a really fast, good-looking website that you can maintain by your own.
Whether it's true or not, some people say, like, if you add on Elementor, it makes the site really heavy. The page load is going to take a long time. And we know from an SEO perspective, ideally, we want our pages to load really quickly. So what do you tell people who, say, hey, I don't want to use Elementor because that's actually going to make my site really heavy and slow?
That was a reality some time ago, but now they updated everything. They cleaned up their plugin, and it's really lightweight and really good. They changed a lot. If you would say that to me 3 years ago, I would agree. And it was still a really powerful tool. But if you looked at the code, at the loading speed, it was an issue. And it happened to all the website builders before. Nowadays, it's really optimized, really good. We know it from our experience. We built websites in Elementor. They are really fast loading. They look really good, and they are really, really really easy to use. And if we check their page speed and their SEO results, they are doing awesomely. So, yeah, it was an issue in the past, but it's improving really, really well now.
Yeah, and I'm going to just throw out there that one of the things that we used, or a plugin in WordPress called NitroPack, which has been a very good speed plugin for any website on WordPress that had page loading issues, things like that. This is a plugin that's really helped us speed things up without having to do a lot. So just throwing out there that if you are having page load issues, getting a plugin like NitroPack can really make a difference. So outside of custom themes, what other common mistakes do you see businesses encounter when using WordPress, and how can they avoid them?
The biggest mistake that I see is using a lot of plugins. We have worked on some websites that when we jump in, we see 60 plugins installed. The biggest issue there is that when plugins get updated, they may lose the compatibility within each other. If you update them all, probably the website will break. So the less amount of plugins that you can have, the better. I understand that sometimes you need all those plugins in order for it to work with with HubSpot and different tools that you use, or for example, Gravity Forms, which is the form builder that we usually use. To add each functionality to Gravity Form, you need to add a plugin. So you end up having 12 plugins related to Gravity Forms. And sometimes that's what's increasing the number. But yeah, that's the biggest mistake that I see, apart from having a custom built PHP theme that it's not very easy to manage.
Are there any go-to plugins or features or functionalities that you feel like every WordPress site should have?
First of all, the website should be 100% responsive, or mobile first, how they call it now. Secondly, they should have at least 3 plugins, which is a really strong SEO plugin, such as Yoast, Rank Math, or All-in-One. They are really, really good tools. Then they should have a good optimization plugin for speed. As you mentioned, NitroPack, that's incredible tool. But there are also other tools that are really good, such as WP Rocket, WP Fastest Cache. There are really good tools there. And then another one for security. WordFence is the most known one, which is great. But there are other good alternatives. And when it comes to performance and security, most of the hostings, they do include that on their packages. So it's smart to see, okay, this is the hosting that I'm going to use, what they provide in terms of security and optimization, and see if you still need more security and more optimization for speed or not. Usually security is covered by the hostings, but then the optimization plugins that they provide are not enough. So you should still have an optimization plugin in order to make things as fast as possible.
A big issue with WordPress is people not updating the plugins and themes. Do you think it's good to have like a plugin which automatically updates things, or it's important to manually update your theme, manually update your plugins in case something goes wrong?
In WordPress, you can enable auto updates. So everything, when they receive a new version, it auto updates. However, I think that manually updating them is the smartest thing, because when you update a plugin, and the smart way of doing it is updating one by one and testing the website. If you have, let's say, 12 plugins and they all need an update, and you update every one of them at the same time and it breaks, then it will take you a lot of time to understand, okay, which one broke the website. However, if you do it one by one, you instantly understand what's the issue and you can fix it, or you can leave the old version there until they fix all the issues that the new version has, and then you can update it. Having everything updated is super important. Doing it manually is the best way to go. And then comparing how the website works before and after that date, that's also crucial.
I mean, bottom line is a WordPress site does need some maintenance and some upkeep. So why do you still tell people to go to WordPress when maybe going to somewhere like Wix or Squarespace, where they don't really have to worry about like plugins and updating things, and they don't have to worry about that? So why would you still tell a small business owner or a small company it's better to go with WordPress?
I see Wix, Squarespace are really easy to use, and you can build something quick, simple, and fast there, and the maintenance there is really, really low. But if you want to have a really custom design with custom elements, with more functionality, something that looks really yours and not like any other website in the internet, WordPress is your way to go, or custom websites. However, custom websites, you need a dev team to manage them. So in the middle of custom and fully coded websites are really simple ones done by tools like Webflow, or well, Webflow is also really good, but like Wix and Squarespace, I choose WordPress in the middle because it gives me the best of both worlds. I can have a really well-designed website full of functionalities while having a really low maintenance. That's why I always pick WordPress.
Good answer. And I know you mentioned Webflow being a good designer, but from an SEO perspective, I'm always going to tell people stay away, because naturally WordPress has so many functionalities to create a really good SEO friendly website. Webflow, we found in our experience, it comes with a lot of issues and it's not as easy to manage from an SEO perspective. So stay away from Webflow. A couple of minutes ago, you mentioned a really important point, which I didn't think about talking about today, but I think is an important point that we should end off here, is about the hosting. So a lot of people, they'll like buy basic hosting from GoDaddy and have their WordPress site hosted there. But really at Optidge and in general, we push that you should get premium hosting that's specifically created for WordPress sites. So like what we push is a host called Kinsta, but there's other ones out there like WP Engine. And like you said, there's a lot of bells and whistles where they're doing a lot of security and monitoring on their backend, automatic backups, and really optimizing the hosting specifically for WordPress. And you find that when using those sort of hosts, there's a lot less problems that you're going to have rather than going for like a cheap $4 a month hosting at GoDaddy. So any additional thoughts there about how important the hosting provider is specifically for a WordPress site?
I will copy you here. Stay away from GoDaddy and Bluehost for hosting. Yes, they are the cheapest solutions, and they are easy to start working with them. However, they are not great. I never recommend using them. I always prefer something like, as you said, Kinsta is really good. Their performance optimizations are great. If you want to migrate the website, it's really good. The overall interface is awesome. Same with WP Engine and same with SiteGround. Those are the three ones that I would recommend using. And yes, they may be a little more expensive than GoDaddy and Bluehost, but in the long run, it's always to have your website secured. They have automatic backups. They have a lot of tools that help you that in case you make a mistake, you can recover the website and let everything is there for you to go back or revert back any changes. And also their support is really good. It happened to me several times that when I try to contact Bluehost support, it takes me hours to get a proper answer. When it comes to SiteGround or Kinsta, you start the chat there, you have a person talking to you, they help you, and it's great. It's worth it spending a little bit more to get a really good service.
That's so important because we used to use HostGator back in the day, and oh my God, to just open up a support ticket, it took forever. And the fact that you can go into Kinsta, open up the chat, and actually speak to someone pretty quickly and get their help is huge. You don't understand just that itself. Like it's like you're buying a life insurance policy.
Yeah,
it's a little expensive, but when you need it, it's there. So that's really, really important. Santi, if I would, summarize what we discussed today, is that WordPress, is a really great option for a website. It's very customizable, and it also, with builders like Elementor, it allows people to go in and actually make changes on their own, which is really good. Of course, you still need to update it and upgrade it, but honestly, most websites are like that. But even though you have that portion, but the fact that you can create something really flexible and also extremely SEO friendly should outweigh, the cons of having to do some of these updates every once in a while. But once again, if you have that really good hosting environment, they're also doing a lot of the security and watching and making sure that nothing will happen to the site.
Exactly like that.
Santi, thank you so much for joining the Digital Marketing Mentor today. For our listeners, if you'd like to explore Optidge's web design and development services, check out our website. We'll include the link below. Santi, thanks again for joining us. We've loved the fact that you are a part of our team. It's really opened up so many new opportunities for us to really up. Like you said, everything's connected. So even our SEO is better, right? Because when we have web design in-house and we're able to talk. So it's been really wonderful. So thank you for being a part of our team and for joining me on the podcast today.
No, thank you very much for the invitation. And I really enjoy working with Optidge. In Optidge, I'm learning a lot. And that's what I want to do. So thank you very much. And it's an honor to be here.
Thank you for listening to the Digital Marketing Mentor podcast. Be sure to check us out online at thedmmentor.com and at the DM Mentor on Instagram. And don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts for more marketing mentor magic. See you next time.